What if the most dangerous courtroom had no judge, no jury, and no public trial? What if justice didn't knock on the door, but instead watched quietly, recorded everything, and waited? Tonight's story is not just about a billionaire, his secret affair, or a woman scorned. It is about how power hides behind money, how racism hides behind respectability, and how Black resilience survives systems designed to erase it. Because when the truth finally surfaced, it did not arrive with sirens or headlines. It arrived with consequences. This is the story of a love triangle that turned into a corporate conspiracy. A story where every betrayal left a digital scar, and where an African-American woman, dismissed, underestimated, and silenced, outlasted them all. This is the silent verdict. At the center of this story stood Julian Cross. To the public, he was untouchable. Founder and CEO of Cross Dominion Group, Julian was a self-made billionaire whose face appeared on business magazines beside words like visionary, disruptor, and philanthropist. His company controlled logistics networks across North America, quietly influencing everything from retail supply chains to government contracts. But behind closed doors, Julian Cross lived a carefully compartmentalized life. And in that private world entered Nia Reynolds. Nia was not born into wealth or privilege. She was an African-American woman raised in Baltimore by a mother who worked double shifts and a grandmother who taught her that silence was never safety. Nia rose through the ranks of corporate analytics through relentless work, intelligence, and an ability to outperform colleagues who were given opportunities she had to fight for. When Julian noticed her, it wasn't her resume that first caught his attention. It was her composure. In rooms where Black women were often interrupted or ignored, Nia spoke with precision. She did not perform with confidence. She embodied it. Their connection began as a mentorship, then late-night strategy sessions, then private meetings Julian insisted remained discreet for optics, and Nia believed him. She believed him when he said the world was not ready to see them together. She believed him when he said discretion protected her, not him. She believed him when he promised influence, partnership, and a future that required patience. What she did not yet understand was that secrecy is rarely neutral, especially when power is involved. Before Nia, there was Evelyn Cross. Evelyn was not Julian's wife, but for nearly a decade, she might as well have been. She helped build Cross Dominion from a startup operating out of a shared office space into a global powerhouse. She negotiated early funding rounds. She engineered internal systems. She understood Julian's instincts better than anyone, until she didn't. Julian ended their partnership abruptly, professionally, and personally. No explanation, no closure, just a board-approved restructuring that removed Evelyn from executive control and rebranded her departure as strategic realignment. To the public, she disappeared. But Evelyn never stopped watching. When whispers reached her about Julian's involvement with a younger Black executive, she didn't feel jealousy. She felt recognition. Because Evelyn understood Julian's pattern, he didn't just discard people, he extracted from them first. And she knew something else. Julian Cross left trails. For Nia, the cost of the relationship grew heavier with time. She noticed how Julian's tone shifted in public, how he praised her work privately, but distanced himself in meetings, how colleagues began questioning her promotions, whispering words like quota and favor, as if her excellence required justification. She also noticed something more disturbing. Her access was expanding beyond her job description. Julian began forwarding internal data sets he insisted she analyze off books. He asked her to flag anomalies, predict market moves, and test proprietary algorithms outside compliance channels. At first, she resisted. Then he framed it as trust. And in a world where Black women are often denied credibility, trust can feel like oxygen. But Nia had learned something growing up. If a system asks you to break rules quietly, it will never protect you loudly. She began documenting everything. Emails, file transfers, meeting timestamps, not for revenge, for survival. Evelyn, meanwhile, had gone silent for a reason. She had spent years embedded in the architecture of Cross Dominion's digital infrastructure. She knew where shortcuts were taken, where compliance was performative, and where proprietary systems leaned dangerously close to ethical violations. What Julian didn't know was that Evelyn had connections beyond the corporate world. She was in contact with a decentralized network of cybersecurity analysts, ethical hackers, and data auditors, professionals who operated quietly, independently, and without allegiance to corporations or governments. They didn't call themselves activists. They didn't seek headlines. They believed in exposure through evidence. When irregular data flows began surfacing, unauthorized access points, off-grid analytics requests, encrypted transfers, they noticed. And when Nia's meticulous documentation surfaced in adjacent channels, the pattern became undeniable. This was not a love affair. It was a liability funnel. Before we continue, if stories like this matter to you, if you believe these narratives deserve light, take a moment to comment below and subscribe to Melanin Chronicles. Your engagement ensures stories of truth, resilience, and accountability continue to be told. Now back to the story. There was no courtroom, no arrest, no press conference. Instead, Cross-Dominion began to unravel quietly. Regulatory agencies initiated audits based on anonymous data disclosures. Investors pulled funding after internal inconsistencies surfaced. Long-standing partners distanced themselves without explanation. Julian called it a coincidence, until his accounts froze, until board members stopped returning calls, until a private dossier, compiled with surgical precision, circulated among elite financial circles, outlining ethical breaches, data misuse, and exploitation patterns. No names were attached, but everyone knew. Nia was reassigned, then placed on leave. Industry contacts went silent. The familiar punishment reserved for Black women in corporate fallout followed. Isolation without accusation. But this time Nia was ready. She had copies, and she had allies she never knew existed. Evelyn believed she would feel satisfaction. Instead, she felt exposed. The same disclosures that dismantled Julian's empire also highlighted her early involvement in the systems she helped build. While she had exited before the worst violations, proximity carries consequences. Her consulting contracts vanished. Her reputation was fractured. Revenge, she learned, does not discriminate. The system does not care why you participated, only that you did. Nia testified, not in court, but through a record. She cooperated with investigators, shared documentation, and spoke when asked. She refused to dramatize. She refused to apologize. When her name surfaced publicly, it was not as a scandal. It was as a witness, a professional, a woman who survived a system designed to consume her credibility first. And something unexpected happened. Black women across industries began reaching out, sharing stories, connecting dots, comparing patterns. Because Nia's story was never isolated. It was familiar. Julian Cross did not lose everything in one day, but he lost control. And for men like him, that is the true sentence. Cross-Dominion still exists, restructured, rebranded, sanitized, because systems rarely disappear. They adapt, but so do the people they tried to erase. Nia Reynolds walked away with her integrity intact, her voice amplified, and a truth the system could not suppress. Because justice does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it watches, sometimes it records, and sometimes it waits until power forgets it is being observed. If this story resonated with you, if you see the patterns, if you believe Black resilience deserves more than footnotes, comment your thoughts and subscribe to Melanin Chronicles. Your voice keeps these stories alive, because silence has always protected power, and storytelling has always challenged it.